this moment, 1616, on this day, 1/6, in this new year of 2016, we gathered to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the passing of William Shakespeare and the beginning of his legacy, 1616 to 2016. The opening today of the Folger Shakespeare Library's First Folio, the book that gave us Shakespeare exhibit, is the launch of a year of Shakespeare's inspired events, and it seems only too appropriate as we reflect back on the very origin of Shakespeare's gift to the world. These 36 plays contained in the 1623 First Folio. 400 years later, Shakespeare's image and his words remain ubiquitous in our modern culture. Hardly a day goes by that you don't encounter Shakespeare in some unconventional way. And it was perfect that yesterday Ronda Rousey, the mixed martial arts champion's fall from grace, and she tweeted from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, "I was adored once too," and cited Twelfth Night. So he's obviously on to something these 400 years later. His works have so thoroughly and completely examined the very core and nature of what it means to be human, and each and every one of us can find a reflection of ourselves in one of his characters. I feel very fortunate to be given the opportunity to unlock this inner meeting to a new generation of appreciators each and every day. But today, I feel even more fortunate to be a part of the University of Notre Dame. The level of cooperation, of collaboration, and of support that has gone into the realization of this exhibit is nothing short of inspiring. It's the source of much envy to a lot of the colleagues that I have in institutions of higher learning all across the country. Over and over again, I hear, "How did you get those two departments to do that together?" So I feel incredibly blessed today to be here on behalf of so many people who have come together to create this exhibit today. With that in mind, I'd like to single out a few of the individuals whose contributions to this project have been absolutely indispensable. Firstly, Renata Mesmer from the Folger Shakespeare Library and Chris Novi from Cincinnati Museum Center. They've been with us since Sunday, installing the exhibit that you're all about to see, and so anxiously have been awaiting. And they're literally running out the door because I think your flight leaves in 60 minutes now. So thanks for being with us. It's been a pleasure. Secondly, I would like to really thank Lynn Holbrook of the Department of Film, Television, and Theater, who worked tirelessly and beautifully to create all these costume displays that you see around us. Thank you so much. From the Office of Public Affairs and Communications, Sue Lister, Scott Tingwald, Andy Fuller, and Mandy Kanukin, Debbie Gabory in the Office of General Counsel, Marie Blakey and Elliot Visconti in the Office of the Provost. This is going to take me just a little bit because I love these people. Rob Becht, Maria Di Pasquale, Jesse Lander, Kate Gary, and Chantel Snyder from the College of Arts and Letters. Tara O'Leary, Sarah Weber, Daniel Johnson, Kelly McNally, Tracy Bergstrom, Ross Ferguson, Sue Donovan, and Liz Doobie at the Hesburgh Library. Christy Burgess and Jennifer Napider from the Robinson Community Learning Center. Our Shakespeare at Notre Dame team, Peter Holland, Deborah Gasper, Aaron Nichols, and Grant Mudge. Our featured guests for being with us today, Father Jenkins, Mayor Buttigieg, Diane Walker, John McGreevy, and most especially to Natasha Leandres and to George Rugg from Rare Books and Special Collections. Aww. It wouldn't be theater. Yeah, you can just stand there if you want. I'll get it in just 1 second. George and Natasha have been with this project since the very beginning, nearly 14 months ago, I think. And they've overseen all the delicate details of curating this once-in-a-lifetime exhibit. Thank you so much. I'd also like to, at this time, acknowledge, please. I'd also like to acknowledge our partners and sponsors in this who have made this exhibition possible. College of Arts and Letters, the British Council, the Nanovic Institute for European Studies, the McNeil Family Foundation, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the American Library Association, the Cincinnati Museum Center, and of course, the Folger Shakespeare Library. And now I'll turn things over to our first speaker. Diane Parr-Walker joined the Hesburgh Libraries as Edward H. Arnold University Librarian in 2011. Under her leadership, the libraries have made transformational leaps in support of teaching, learning, and research in the digital age here at Notre Dame. Please welcome Diane Parr-Walker.
Thank you, Scott. It's a real privilege for me to welcome you all on behalf of all of us here in the Hesburgh Libraries to our new North Entrance Gallery, which, as you can see, has been transformed for the moment into a version of the London Globe Theatre. Thank you for joining us for this momentous occasion as we officially launch the First Folio exhibit and kick off a year-long series of events that will celebrate 400 years of Shakespeare and the unique legacy of Shakespeare here at Notre Dame. We're proud at the Hesburgh Libraries to be a part of this really creative collaboration that Scott spoke about, a part of a campus and community collaboration and partnership that resulted in bringing the First Folio, the book that gave us Shakespeare, to Notre Dame as one of the first sites on its national tour and the only site here in Indiana. We're also very pleased that the Hesburgh Library's Rare Books and Special Collections area will be the home to this exhibit and several other exciting events that will happen in the coming weeks. We are especially looking forward to the opportunity to have about 1,200 school children and their teachers in the coming weeks for their very own experience of the First Folio. In addition to featuring one of the rare copies of the First Folio that's on tour from the Shakespeare Library, the Folger Shakespeare Library, we are also showcasing some highlights from our own collections, interesting rare materials that correspond to the history of Shakespeare in print. Of course, the First Folio, as we all know, is a rich source of knowledge for the scholarly community in that it records a number of plays that otherwise would be lost to us in history. For us in the libraries, it's also important as a seminal example of early printing and a reminder in our increasingly digital age of the importance of books in the documentation and dissemination of our cultural heritage. Hesburgh Library's Rare Books and Special Collections area works to acquire, preserve, and make accessible artifacts of this nature for the continued research and scholarship of Notre Dame students and faculty, and also for scholars both locally and around the world. Here at Hesburgh Libraries, we often say that our mission is to connect people to knowledge and to preserve that knowledge for study throughout time. As the sole Indiana host for this exhibit, we're honored to be fulfilling our mission in this very special way by providing the opportunity for scholars and the community to experience this unique artifact firsthand. So we hope that you will enjoy the opening events and the exhibit as much as we have enjoyed the opportunity to bring the First Folio, the book that gave us Shakespeare, to Notre Dame. It's now my privilege and pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Reverend John I. Jenkins, CSC, was elected in 2005 as the University of Notre Dame's 17th president. As president, he has devoted himself to fostering the university's unique place in academia, the church, our nation, and the world. Please join me in welcoming Father Jenkins.
Well, it is so great to be with you at this exciting day when we'll see this First Folio and that will be on display here. The works of someone who has so deeply shaped our literature, our language, and our understanding of ourselves. It will be a great year of Shakespeare, and we're just so excited that there's been such a burgeoning of Shakespeare at Notre Dame. We have some superb scholars and teachers in Peter Holland, Jesse Lander, and Elliot Visconsi, among others. And we're just delighted that we continue with the tradition of performing Shakespeare through the Notre Dame Shakespeare Festival, now in its 17th season, and through having such fine professional actors from the London stage come to Notre Dame to stage performances. But it's not only the campus that is touched by this great burgeoning of Shakespeare here, it's the community as well. And I just want to acknowledge and thank all those who have worked so hard to bring Shakespeare beyond the campus to the community. One of the great joys I have, and many of you have had, is to see the Robinson Shakespeare Company of Notre Dame's Robinson Center, children from the community who are just such enthusiastic and really fine performers of Shakespeare's work. It's just exciting to see them. And also, I just another novel and wonderful connection with Shakespeare is engaging Shakespeare at the Westville Correctional Center through the Shakespeare in Prisons Network. To many people on campus and in the community, bring Shakespeare to those in the correctional facility so they can engage the works of Shakespeare. What a wonderful way to bring these great works to people who otherwise might not have encountered them, or at least encountered them in such a rich way. So these are wonderful ways. You know, the works of Shakespeare remind us, as I said, who we are and how we're connected with one another on this campus, beyond this campus, and with the community. And perhaps one of the great gifts this First Folio gives us is these works that tie us together as humans and as a community. And the presence of Shakespeare, the celebration of Shakespeare in this year of Shakespeare will, I hope, deepen even more these connections, these interactions on this campus and beyond this campus with the community. And with that in mind, it's my tremendous pleasure to introduce a really fine leader of this community, someone who has been so creative in so many ways in enriching the life of this community, in connecting the city with the university, in helping the city move forward in so many ways. And so it's my great pleasure to introduce Mayor Pete Buttigieg to say a few words.
Thank you, Father John, for the kind introduction and for your consistent and energetic commitment to the relationship between this great city and this great university. Let's see if I get this right. How is the man esteemed here in the city? A very reverent reputation, sir, of credit infinite, highly beloved, second to none that lives here in the city. I think I got that right. It's a dialogue between a couple of characters in the Comedy of Errors, and it struck me how apt that is for how Shakespeare is esteemed in our city, one that loves the tradition of the English language and values a great deal something like the body of work that William Shakespeare represents. And so it is certainly a joy for the city to be able to join with the university in welcoming this extraordinary artifact here to our community and having it shared with the children, the students, and the community members who will get to see it over the course of the next month. I have an iPad, I have a Kindle, I have Twitter, but books are still the fundamental vehicle of cultural communication, and it's because of what they capture. It's not antiquarian curiosity, it's what's in them, these ideas that reverberate through the century, these sensations that you get in Shakespeare, whether you're in Henry V reading about a leader weighing whether or not to get involved in a war in the Middle East, or whether you are, as the students brought to life for us, reading about the experience of falling in love for the first time. It's through those words that echo across the centuries that we relate not only to the past, but to each other and to ourselves. And as Father John was saying, you cannot be unmoved when you see students, like the students at the Robinson Community Learning Center, who, through the words of Shakespeare, are finding their own voice. Something that resonates a lot with me, having played a minor part in a high school Shakespeare production that helped me to find my voice. Proving that nerds can talk on stage to hundreds of people at a time. What a great thing for the community, and it, I think, reflects just so well on the university and is such a benefit to the community that we have this. So I'll close aspirationally with one other Shakespearean line from an obscure, I didn't even know he did a play about Pericles, but he did, and there's a line in there that says something along the lines of, "I doubt not that this populous city will yield many scholars." So that'll be our hope for South Bend. And with that, I will yield to a scholar, introducing for a few remarks the Dean of Arts and Letters here at the University of Notre Dame, John McGreevy.
Thank you. I echo Mayor Buttigieg's words of welcome and excitement for this occasion. I am told by Notre Dame's own Mark Pilkington from the Film, Television, and Theater Department that the first Shakespeare play at Notre Dame was performed in 1864, just 22 years after Father Soren and his merry band made it to northern Indiana. If you can name the play that was performed in 1864, you may have the First Folio.
Henry IV.
That's actually not in the script. It is Henry IV. But while Shakespeare at Notre Dame has a long history, the best day in the history of Shakespeare at Notre Dame is today. One of the programs I'm most proud of as dean is Notre Dame Shakespeare, with the work it does with our undergraduates in the classroom and on the stage, with the actors from the London stage who visit our campus each year, with its work, as mentioned by Father Jenkins and Mayor Buttigieg, in our community, with the Robinson Shakespeare Company, and with the fabulous main stage production each fall. It is one of those rare programs that crosses the humanities and the arts and crosses into South Bend, educating our students, our faculty, our citizens. It gives me great pride then to announce that with the arrival of the First Folio and the arrival of 2016, the year of Shakespeare has begun.
Just 1 second. Give us 1 second, all right? Yeah. Yeah, don't you want to get in there? Oh, perfect, perfect. That's the thinking.
In the middle. Ready?
Are we ready? You got it, Peter?
There we go.
Nice. Very precarious.